Hello everyone, we will be modeling this lovely poof over here. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already because we are about to start modeling this poof. Okay, this is a fresh new scene. I will begin by creating a simple circle and I will press N on my keyboard and I will change this dimension X and Y and I will change this to 60 and I will go closer and now press tab to go into the edit mode and all of my vertices are selected, but I am selecting it again and I will press F on my keyboard to create a face. Now I will press E to extrude about 35. All right, and now I will press Ctrl R and I will create a loop cut and I will use the mouse wheel to add another loop cut. So left click to accept it and then right click to leave it in the center. Now as you can see, it has given me the selection of faces. So what I can do is scale it outwards. So press S to scale and then scale it outwards, something like this. And now before I make any edits, I would like to add the subdivision modifier. So I will come to modifiers, add modifier and click on subdivision surface and I will increase the levels. Let me expand this. Levels in the viewport. All right. And now as you can see, I'm getting a little bit of a stretching over here. So for this, it needs more geometry over here. So what I can do is alt click. So it will select the entire set of vertices and the face is also selected. What I can do is press I to inset. And as you can see, there is no more stretching. And now what I can do is move this face up. I will press G and press Z to move it up somewhere here. And I am still getting a little bit of stretching. So I can do is alt click one more time and then press I to inset it one more time. I think somewhere over here, just to have a little bit of tightening here. And then maybe I'll bring this up slightly. Press G and Z to move it up. Okay, let's fix the bottom part. For the bottom part, I will do the similar thing. Alt click to select and then press I to inset a couple of times. And then I will press I to inset again and bring the mouse inside just to hold this shape a bit better. And now if I come back to the object mode, now you can see the shape of my poof over here. So in order to fix this faceted effect, I can click on the object and right click on shade smooth. So it will smooth the shading of this and it's looking much better. So on the top, I would like to have a stitching detail. So what I can do is press tab to go into the edit mode and I will switch to the edge selection and alt click. It will select the entire edge loop. This is the fastest way to select an edge loop. And while the edges are selected, what I can do is separate the selection. the way to separate this selection is press P on the keyboard. So I get a little menu over here. Separate what? I want to separate the selection. So click on selection. And now it is separated. It actually makes a copy of the edge selection. My original edge selection is still intact. So I'll press Tab to come back to the object mode. Deselect everything, and the newly extracted edge selection is over here. Right now this is a mesh object. As you can see over here, this triangle indicates this is a mesh. So in order to convert this to a curve, I will right click and go to convert to, and then click on curve. As you can see the symbol of the curve, so click on the curve, and over here in the scene collection you can see the symbol is changed to curve. So now this is a curve object. So now after this is converted to a curve, what I can do is come to the properties, click on the data properties on this curve symbol, and then scroll down, expand the geometry, scroll down, and under the bevel section I can increase the value of depth. Let's try 1. This is way too much, so let me okay, we have a little bit of a problem. You can see the scale is off. So first put this back to 0, and let's collapse the scale, apply the scale. So Control A and select, click on scale. So now you can see the scale value is back to 1. Now let's try again. Let me give the value 1, and you can see now the effect is much better. But this is way too big. Let's reduce it. Click and drag. Or what we can do, hold shift and click and drag so we can easily control it. Alright, so maybe 2.25, and I can push this down. Press G and Z, then I can just push it down. That's coming out of the mesh just a little bit. Maybe I will push it out a bit more. Press G and Z, and just a little bit, click. Okay, so now you can see we have the nice stitching detail at the top. Okay, this is looking good. And now I would like to have stitching detail, few stitching details on the sides as well. So let's click on the object and press Tab, and as you can see, the cage that it is showing, this is a cage, the original cage, but what I want is the smoother version of it. So in order to get this smoother version, I have to apply this subdivision in order to get this smoother version of edge selection. So what I need to do is apply the subdivision modifier. So click on apply, and now when I press Tab, you can see I'm getting all of these detailed and smooth edges. So now I will come to my top view, and then I will alt click and then shift alt click and then shift alt click from this side. I only need 4 selections, and then shift alt click from this side. I'll go to my wireframe mode, press Z, and then click on wireframe. As you can see, I don't want this crossing the stitching detail over here. So what I can do is hold the control and then click and drag in order to deselect it. Maybe I'll try. No, undo it. Okay, this much is enough. Do the same thing from here. Hold control and then click and drag to deselect. Hold control, click and drag, and then hold Control, click and drag. And now I have the selection. I will repeat the same process to separate it. I will press P on my keyboard and then click on selection. Now I will come back to the object mode, press Tab. And now I can click the newly extracted edges, which is a mesh at the moment. So I will right click and convert this to a curve. As you can see, it has changed to a curve symbol, and now this is a curve. Now I can apply the thickness to it to get the stitching detail. But before I do it, let's check the scale value. The scale value needs to be applied. So Control A, click on scale. Alright, so the scale value is back to 1. Now if I come to the settings of the curve, click on the curve properties and then scroll down under the geometry, under the bevel section. I will give the value. If you remember the value from last time, it was 0.25. Enter, and let's take a look. Okay, so this needs a little bit of an adjustment. What I need to do is push the vertex down. So I will click on this, press Tab to go into the edit mode, and I'll just click the vertex. Same thing I will do over here. Shift click, add to the selection, again shift click, and again shift click. So now what I can do is zoom into one of these, and I will press G to move and press Z to move it in the Z direction, and then just push it down so that it is hidden. And I'll just push it down and maybe scale it out just a little bit. Press S to scale, and so that it is hiding inside the stitching over here. And I think now this is looking much better. Maybe I'll try to move this up. Press G and Z, maybe just a little bit over here. This is fine. Press Tab and deselect everything, and now this is looking much better. Now the final thing that is remaining is I will create the legs. All right, and in order to create the leg, I will be using the point system. Okay, so I will go to my front view, press the tilde key, and then click on front. Okay, and now I will press Shift A, and instead of going to mesh, I'll go to curve and then click on point. So the point is created at the origin over here, and I'm already in the edit mode. So, and the point is selected. So, what I will do is press G to move, but before I do it, you can see it has given me a settings. So click to expand this settings, and the settings that we need to change is switch from 2D to 3D, and I like to work with the poly type, so click on poly, and now I can just minimize it. All right, now the point is selected already. Press G to move. I will move it over here, somewhere here. Okay, and now this is my starting point. I will start to extrude. Press E to extrude. Press E to extrude. Press E to extrude. Press E to extrude. And then press E to extrude one last time. And I will press the middle mouse button so it is moving straight in the x-axis, and then somewhere over here. In order to make this exactly in the origin, what I can do is, while this is selected, come over here and just enter the value 0. So this will be exactly in the 0 location over here. Now I will press tab and then let's take a look. So as you can see, this is a curve. What I need to do is come over here and enable the settings. So I will give thickness to it. Let's give a thickness of 0.5. So 0.5 is way too much. Okay, and then as you can see, we have the option to fill the caps. So we can click on this. So it is filled, and let's reduce it to 0.25. Okay, so the 0.25 over here is thicker than that, but that's fine. We can adjust it. So I think this much thickness is enough that what I want to use. So let's make this smoother. So I can come to modifiers and I can apply a subdivision modifier, and let's see the result. Yeah, it's getting better. So let's increase the level, and I like it, and the bottom needs to be adjusted. So let's press tab and select this one. Let's select this one and bring it closer. So I'll go to my front view and zoom in a little bit and press G, and let's move and see if we can make any difference. Yes. Yep. And then let's adjust this one as well. Press G to move. Adjust this one so that it's coming out just a little bit. Yep, this is looking fine. All right. And now let's take a look. Yeah, this is looking much better. Okay, so I like the stitching detail. So let me rotate this in the correct location. I'll go to the top view, and what I would like to do is select the stitching and rotate this. Press R to rotate, and I will press Z, so it is rotated along the Z, and I will rotate this 45 degrees. So I will enter the value 45. So this way it is not coming in the way of the legs that I am creating, so we can see the details separately. So now what I would like to do is continue working on the leg. So click on this leg, go to the top, and I would like to rotate this. So I will rotate it slightly. Press R to rotate, and I will just rotate it. And now I will duplicate this, and I will duplicate it as an instance. So instead of pressing Shift D, I will press Alt D. Let me show you. Object, duplicate linked. This is Alt D. So I'll click this, and now I will. So now it is attached to my mouse pointer to move. So instead of moving, I will press R, and I can rotate and adjust it. So I will just bring it over here roughly. So I have 2 copies of it, and now I need to create a rod in the center that will be straight going down. Okay, so I can duplicate this one, go to the top view, and I will press Shift D this time to duplicate, and press R to rotate, and then just bring this in the center. Okay, this is in the center, and let me bring it away just a little bit just to find almost similar gap. Now this one I will modify it. I'll go to the front view and press tab, and I will select all of these vertices, shift click, and then press X and select dissolve vertices. So it will delete all of these, and now this one I'll just drag it down, press G and Z, So it is coming down straight, something like this. So as you can see, this is one set of the legs. So what I can do is merge all of these into one. So click and shift click, and then I will press Ctrl J. So now these are all acting as one object. And now I'll just go to the top view and I will duplicate this. Alt D, so that this is duplicated as an instant. So Alt D and press R to rotate, and I will rotate this 90 degrees. So I'll enter the value 90. Okay, this is fine. And I will press Alt T one more time and then press R 90, and then I will press Alt T one last time and R to rotate, and then 90 one last time. Let's take a look. Okay. And if I want, I can increase the thickness of it just a little bit. 0.3. And let's understand this better. I will create a plane, just a plane, so that we can understand it standing on a floor. So I'll go to the front view, select from the wireframe, switch to wireframe, and select everything. Deselect the flooring. I will press G and move this up in the Z somewhere here. Just make it sit on the floor, something like this. And now let's take a look. So our lovely poof is ready. So I hope you enjoyed watching the video, and I hope you learned something from it, and you can make any adjustments if you want to make the stitching thicker, or you want to make the legs thicker or thinner. It's all up to you, but you get the idea to model the poof. And so go ahead, like the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. So take care and see you in the future videos.